Okay, hello. First of all, I'm very honored to hold a keynote speech at this conference. And I will be speaking about exploring potentials and risk of AI technology from perspective of creatives. So it's a quite broad field, but I hope I can bring in some views and questions and of course conclusions. So let's kind of get on the same page and briefly kind of define or try to define what is AI. So AI, although it sounds new and is booming now, it's actually not so new. What is pretty common in technology development, but it's more like maybe accessible and more applicable nowadays than in the late 50s when AI started, and its first bubble burst when of course all the ideas what wanted to be implemented the computers or machines couldn't support yet. So AI in itself could be any technique that enables computer to mimic human intelligence. So it's an intelligence demonstrated by machines. It could be, for instance, example, IBM Deep Blue chess program or Sims characters in the computer game. And when came the second bubble of AI was with machine learning in the 90s, which is a subset of AI that includes abstract statistical techniques that enables machines to improve at tasks with experience. So it doesn't require any explicit programming in order that algorithm improve on its own by learning from different but similar scenarios. So for instance, example is Google search or the Amazon recommendations. So by just kind of being able to statistically see like what we are searching for or what we are buying, they can kind of become intelligent in a way and offer already what you wanted kind of to search, which is of course there are many kind of jokes and art projects which kind of tries to show how biased also are these algorithms. And deep learning, which started in a few years ago, and now it's becoming more and more serious and complex, is also a subset of AI and machine learning. Is composed of algorithms that permits software to train itself to perform tasks like speech and image recognition by exposing multi-layered neural networks to vast amount of data, learn and improve on their own. So here is a key word that they need a large data sets in order kind of to perform on the kind of acceptable level. So here is examples: the AlphaGo, natural speech recognition, self-driving cars, and more, of course. We will talk a lot about the GAN, generative adversarial network. Here is kind of the schema explain how it works. A neural network. Of course, the schematic looks pretty simple, but reality is more complex. And actually, it's really often we don't know like how the algorithms came to this result. But here the GAN is a mobile learning model in which two neural networks compete with each other to become more accurate in their predictions. GANs typically run unsupervised and use a cooperative zero-sum game framework to learn. As I told before, important is a training set, a data set of images. So at least there should be at least 500, but much like normally it's 10,000 or 100,000. And then there is a generator and discriminator. Generator is generating fake images, and discriminator says that is it fake or not. And if it says that it's not fake, but it is fake, so it's kind of the generator understands where is the level. So, and probably if discriminator sees that the fake is real, human eyes is most likely perceiving the same. Like for instance, what is happening here, it's results of neural network generated faces from the data set of famous people. But of course, these people, what is here, they don't exist, so they are completely artificial images. And in general, when we talk about GANs, the human face is quite popular thing to do, to generate faces, or then paintings. If we can actually cluster a bit, they are on the top of the rank, I would say. But now we spoke more about technology, but let's also talk about art. And the art world started to talk about AI in the late 2018, when a collective from France, Obvious, sold AI generated or created painting by the GAN algorithm, and it was sold nearly for $500,000. And then suddenly, of course, everyone became interested and curious in the field. Not only, let's say, artists who are working with technology, but in general, the contemporary art field too. And this print was signed with the formula of the algorithm. Very polemic case, of course. And but when we talk about AI and art, we definitely should mention Mario Klingerman, who has done lots of work in the field and research. I cannot show all the works of him, but one, for instance, here is Memories of Passerby. One. This is kind of a part of that. It looks aesthetically very nice. It's 4K screens, which when we talk about AI resolution is a problem. It's very difficult to achieve images which are higher res. So Mario achieved 4K results, and these are not images, but it's a generative program what is running in real time. And he trained his model with the portraits of famous painters from Western world. And this is the results what then the audience can enjoy, and it goes forever, and the results are always different. But this is remarkable, yes, that he achieved the 4K results. And this is also his work with a style gun, when then the faces are generated based on the rhythm of sound, and they are 3D, again, not existing faces. So here we can have a look. Style Gun 2 is the tool. So they're kind of morphing faces, and you can see their 3D appearance also. I think you don't hear the sound. I'm here hearing too, but you can check it out if you're interested. Everything is online. Okay, then another artist who is worth mentioning is Memo Atken, and he has many experiments, but one of them is learning to see a glooming Sunday, and he's really like teaching algorithm how to see everyday objects differently. So you see a charger, but then the outcome is a cloud, and first were images, and then he achieved also videos. Then mosaic virus by Anna Reidel. She made a data set of 10,000 tulips from Netherlands, and the result is are generated tulips that do not exist, but they are connected they are connected with Bitcoin value. So for her, was interesting to connect this kind of two big manias. What was a tulip mania in 1630s, and current ongoing speculation around cryptocurrency, and the stripes on tulips represent the Bitcoin value and its fluctuation, and whether how much they are open and so on. So this is also made with AI. Under the water, this is my work together with Mark Canet, and in this work it's a print work, Chromalox print on aluminium, and we talk about Anthropocene. Now we made a data set of plastic under the water, and we want to talk about the future of our oceans, and well, we trained with a progressive GAN algorithm to generate images of trash under the water, which looks aesthetically pleasant, but the topic is horrifying. Content-aware studies by Egor Kraft has received quite a lot of attention since the creation of this work. And this project is worth mentioning because here we exit from, let's say, 2D image, and also see that AI models can create or complete the form. He took ancient Greek sculptures which have missing parts, and by feeding into the model a lot of data sets of this kind of sculptures on this particular time, then algorithms started to kind of generate the complete sculptures, like how is possible to complete them. And then Egor Kraft 3D printed them, and kind of here is a proposition of completed missing parts of these ancient artworks. Yeah, here you can see more. If you have been in the last Ars Electronica, you would probably recognize this work by Scott Eaton, Humanity, Fall of the Damned. Here is a pix-to-pix technique, and it's a nice example how AI algorithms are in symbiosis, or as really, yeah, symbiotic tool for the artist, because he is drawing with a pencil his works, and then applying pix-to-pix technique in order to get the texture to this, let's say, pencil drawn figures, and the algorithm puts really like perfect shadows and so on. Of course, it's again trained with his own data set, and probably also trained model, where he photographed a lot of models in his studio, and he has done a really large body of work with this technique, which is very much fascinating. And I would say it's, if we see later on, I also talk about this, that normally the GANs or pix-to-pix models, they are like, you see the result is quite, I mean, it's unique, but it's similar. You can recognize with what it's done. Then in case of Scott Eaton, it's very well done, also in this sense that you cannot really recognize the tool behind. Salva Patrias by Martin Nadal. He took images by the demonstrations of Catalan nationalists and also Spanish ones, and then generated the new images, which is also politically active, I would say, because nowadays there are a lot of fake news, and we don't know anymore if these demonstrations or catastrophes or other events are true or not. And here it looks like true, but it's not true. Well, these two large groups, nationalistically minded, they meet in the corner of this building. There is the same image of just replacing the belonging. AI, of course, is used also in design, and one of quite famous cases by Robbie Barat, who was playing with Balenciaga collection, and just kind of proposing what could be next, because, as you know, some fashion lines, they use kind of quite standard color and form and patterns, so they are quite predictable. And for AI, this is perfect, because AI is, what are they good at, are the predictions. So if he made this for fun, then you can see already here in the Twitter posting from the Marine Serre catwalk that some propositions of Robin Barat and his algorithm were already realized. And here was posed on Twitter the question if the gunware becomes real. I mean, probably yes. I mean, this is one way to expand the creativity horizon. I would like also to tell about this experiment which I found, of course, online by one ceramic artist from France, and she started to experiment with runaway ML. And first she put a data set of her cups. They were only cups, and she reached after training the model, when she was navigating in or exploring the Latin space, the results what algorithm is creating. Then for her, there was nothing surprising, nothing what could inspire her. So what then she did, she took another data set of vases from one museum archive, which is freely available. And then she started combining her cups and then the antique vases. Then she started to see interesting results for her as an artist. The combination of colors, where is the kind of the air of the mug, and so on. So for her, she saw that, okay, this is kind of interesting creating process and could actually be valuable for boosting the creativity. but this example also shows that the GANs can't invent totally new things. You can only expect them to combine what they already know in new ways. So here, I think I don't have, maybe on the next slide. Here are then mostly two things: what kind of data set you feed in, and which kind of model you will use, on which you are training. And of course, there are even more deeper manipulation, but more preset tools are used, less surprise and less artistic value, I would say, there is. Audiovisual field also uses AI tools or start to use. For instance, machine hallucinations by Refi Canadol, or poetic AI by Ouch, quite beautiful work, also artificial botany by Fuse work. But here also what we see actually in the audiovisual field, that the tools, how they do their visual, so to say, outcome is pretty much the same, but the topic or the data they use later on in the same tools then are AI related, because as I told before, the resolution and also real-time aspect is still problematic nowadays. AI and drawing, I mean, we touched already images, but also there are many artists who are doing drawing with AI, and Harold Cohen is one of them, but he started like really early, so he can also be classified as computer artist. And he, as he says, and also in some of his interviews, I mean, of course, the computer is not the artist, but the artist has to be creative to create this algorithm and make work in a way he or she wants. And he's continuing actually with this theory to achieve the aesthetic and the style artist wants to develop. Elena Sarin also has done a large body of work in this field, and here is one of her work, Happy Nation, the water park. And as you see here, she is doing her data sets from her own drawings. So she's doing maybe like 1,000 or 2,000 drawings, and then feeding into her trained models, which then the model is generating a new images. Mario Klingerman also has one project called Sketchflix, also probably from his own sketches. And I think also there is some code online which you can try. Then also like, let's say, symbiotic or collaborative drawing between then robotic applications and the artist. Well, here is quite large robotic application. It's a robotic arm, impressive drawings, and also, of course, visual, performatively impressive drawing operations by Sugwen Chung. And here is really like robotic arm takes into consideration what artist is drawing, and other way around, which kind of drawing also becomes a performative act, and the results are also unexpected, and this is how this artist prefers to work also. Jessica In, Nora, Machinic Doodle, where we see robotic cycles which can draw, but they are also interactive. So the audience can teach them or guide them how to draw, and they learn and they develop their own style, I believe, as much as I could see from the internet. And this is also very interesting approach, also offering the audience a chance to interact with this artwork and kind of participate in the drawn result. So we talked a lot about like creating image. So what could be these techniques of AI for image making or image manipulation also? And there are at the moment kind of many demos popping up where user is kind of welcome to try them and draw together and manipulate images and so on. And some of them are here like Gauguin, Sketch RNN, Pix to Pix, style transfer, colorize. Now is kind of a new trend also to animate with AI, and of course the GAN, which you can generate artificial images, so to say. Yeah, here's Gauguin by NVIDIA. So uploading the image and kind of very abstract, and then it's a perfect waterfall, or whatever you draw, it converts to the cats or to the hats or to shoes, whatever you decide. So this is a bit more serious, I would say. It's a deep painterly harmonization, which you have to kind of run the code. Whatever you add to the painting, it converts it to the same style. You see input and output. Again, it's in a way style transfer. It's a Renaissance painting, or it's a Picasso, or it's kind of like quite popular toys, I would say, nowadays. And the arbitrary style transfer in the browser. So in a way, it's a bit like let's say AI image manipulation or creation. It becomes a bit like Photoshop filters, no? It's let's upload this and let's see what happens. Then also it's possible to bring painting into life. So it's here is like you just put like one painting which you want that this video input appears very similar to. So you say input, and then the output is like the painting. No, it's kind of amazing what they can achieve. And AI colorizer, also the Oldify, is pretty powerful. That black and white image, and then the algorithm offers what kind of colors they could be. It's kind of pretty realistic. I mean, this one maybe not so much, but it's also one demo actually by a Japanese artist, which you can also colorize the image in different styles. Then animate with AI, pretty recent work, AR face doodle by Cyril Diagne, where you paint in real time and it follows in 3D view. Amazing work by Shan Xuan at TensorFlow, which takes the skeleton real time from the camera, and then the character which you upload, then that follows the movement. And of course, deep fake, which is kind of also booming, and also the videos uploaded on the internet, we already don't know what is real, what is not real. My favorite here is Donald Trump and Mr. Bean combined. I already showed you many tools, and then it's a question arises here from all this filter-like or style transfers, like what is the artistic value here. I think the Elena Sarin pointed out very well when she uploaded this graph on her Twitter account, which indicates the value of artistic process. And you can see like here that more you do on your own, more value you will have in your work. If there is your own data, meaning the data sets and your own algorithm, you don't use like pre-trained or off-shelf algorithm, like the more higher is the value. But of course, it's like this push the button demo filters. I mean, we cannot really talk about aesthetics here. And of course, there is more and more we talk about the issues of data ownership, and I suggest not to use pre-made data sets if you don't want to have problems with authorship later on, because in the end it doesn't look like it's similar results, but the same discussion is from, for instance, this 500,000 paintings sold by Obvious that they used, that's what is the speculations about, that they used someone's data set. They even didn't do their own data set. So it's not known, is it true or not known at the moment, but in order to avoid this kind of problems and to have more let's say artistic value in the work and the process, then this graph explains actually, or summarizes very well what the artist should do. Well, moving a bit away from the art and let's talk about like politics and also the society. Stuart Russell's recent book about human titled Human Compatible, about the AI and the problems of control, where he's stating that the field's goal had always been to create human level or superhuman AI, but there was a little or no consideration of what would happen if we did. And actually right now we are kind of very close to that. And the sad part is that the consideration is like Russell's saying, it's rather small or none even. And he goes even further, saying that the success would be the biggest event in the human history and perhaps the last event in the human history. So it's a bit kind of a dark end to the beginning, but he has a point, because at the moment, like later on we look also more deeply through the AI Now report, that the algorithms or AI, they rule over the human opinion or the needs, and they shouldn't happen, that machines decides over us. This is in a way dangerous. But going further, like here is a quantum computer by Google, which would be the game changer in the computing world, and also I believe politics. And here Google announces the Google Quantum already in October 19, and TensorFlow is also already done for quantum, and this super computer can calculate calculations what demands over 10,000 years in 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So it must be really fast. But as also in the last book I talked about, the author talks about if they are looking for the wrong problem to solve, or the logic is wrong, then just the result would be that the wrong answer would be delivered faster. So instead of knowing it in 10,000, there would be in 3 minutes, 10,000 years. And this is the biggest problem. And here are the big players of the AI field. And if you look like the owners of most of these companies are also the richest in the world. And country-wise, there are also a big race who will win it and will dominate the world economy. So even the Russian president, thinking that he's maybe not the expert of the field, he has stated that whoever becomes a leader in the sphere will become the ruler of the world. So the kind of fight or race looks like really serious. And here, borrowing also the image and the idea of golden calf by it was an article in Towards Data Science by Jakub Zelko, where he asked actually if the data is a new golden calf. And well, it's related, I would say, if AI is the new golden calf. And it looks like it is a solution for everything. In a way, here is also brings me to the mind the solutionism ideas by Evgeny Morozov, which in a way limits our imagination and our decisions. And the same is writing also Zelko, who was saying that we are like freely giving away our freedom, even little by little. All this the surveillance of our personal data, which makes us total predictable organisms in a way for the machines, and the machines who start to take decisions for us. And all the political races around, it's really feels like AI is the ultimate solution, and also the power. And here I have to show again the work by Mario Klingerman, which I think he didn't really thought politically about this, more poetically, and it's also interactive, where when the participant or the audience kneel on the prayer furniture, then the flip boxes start to flip, and everyone could get personal in a way quote. So he's using the GPT-2 model, which generates then text, and he was thinking about the power of the word, and this model was trained by numerous quotes. So the machine is quite kind of poetic and smart, and people find the meaning of it. But here is exactly this power position where the machine is kind of has this spiritual or even the religious value over the audience, supremacy even, if you want. Which talks also, which relates to this golden calf article. But continuing with the GPT-2 technique, which is for text and meaning generation in a way, the recent work of me and Mar, together with Roger Bernat, was ENA, is an online chatbot during pandemics when all the theaters were closed. We were commissioned by theater in Barcelona, Teatre Lliure, and ENA was on their website and talked to the audience, so web audience of the theater. So bringing in here a bit also interactive art theory, like I borrowed this schema from myself when I was doing a PhD, and used this schema to define what is interactive work. Then here I would like to point out that with AI tools, we can actually make the behavior or the results of the artwork unpredictable even for the author. If even if you look early interactive works using conversation or the chatbots, then normally, like, the artist had to kind of pre-program and pre-think all the possible cases. Then with an AI algorithms, they can make new predictions and behaviors which would never repeat. Like, for instance, with an ENA or the Mario's work and so on, there are like a wide range of possibilities which adds, let's say, character and liveliness to the interactive artwork. So here is this AI Now report, which sums up all the concerns with AI development, and there are many. So I summarized some here, and they are raising the issues that that all AI use, which decisions impact people's lives and access to opportunities shouldn't be deployed unless AI companies should stop using it because they are not researched well enough, and they make quite a lot false positive decisions. Then is a big issues with facial recognition, which more and more places are using, and also taking kind of decisions based on this, and this should be kind of stopped because there are a lot of sensitive data, and it doesn't always kind of work as it should work. For instance, why we should detect certain races of people or certain classes of people, right? Here is the same saying about the biased data, like systematic biased algorithms, systematic racism and lack of diversity, and also another issue is this climate impact, where we don't know how much CO2 are producing all these powerful machines, and what kind of impact our environment has. Then also AI harms workers, especially low wages one, like Amazon is one of the case where systems are able to fire the people if their performativity goes lowers. And then also the developers are often unaware of the results. For instance, there have been cases that developers are working on on human detection algorithms, and then they don't know actually that it's used for killing the people later on in the by military drones. Biometrical data should be more protected. And there is another issue that the private tech companies own public data. And in the end, all these big tech companies should take responsibility for biased algorithms, not just saying okay, they're biased and that's all, we have to take it. Yeah, and it's pretty kind of large. You can, if you're interested, you can go, you can read through it. It's publicly available, and actually I really recommend this. So there are also, as you see, it's a very politically loaded topic, and there are also artists dealing with this. For instance, Kyle MacDonald made this work, NVIDIA CO2, where you can see by training the model or generating your images, you can see how much your graphic card is emitting CO2. Very actual issue. So there is also by MIT Technology Review by Karen Hao article that training a single AI model can emit as much carbon as 5 cars in their lifetimes. Asunder by Julia and Oliver and Tega Bryan and Bengt Sjölen. It's also interesting work. Is kind of a fictional environment manager where AI takes control over the earth and tries kind of move cities and rivers and so on, kind of rearrange perfectly to achieve the perfect results for environment. Kind of speculative work, of course. Brilliant work by Simon Werkt, Google Maps hack. Where again, we are coming back to this golden calf issue that we believe all this algorithm like it would be a god who make no mistakes. And he just put a bunch of mobile phones in, of course, activated ones in the trolley and walked on the empty street. But on the Google Maps, you could see that this road is totally jammed because the artist was walking with some bunch of smartphones. Segmentation network by Sebastian Schmieg. Oops, sorry. He in this work he brought attention to the fact that all the smart systems are actually contains a lot of manual labor, human manual labor, and in this work he placed back over 600,000 segmentations manually created by crowd workers for Microsoft Cocoa image recognition datasets. This dataset is based on photos from Flickr and is used in machine learning for training and testing. The piece makes visible the hidden manual labor that goes into building neural networks and artificial intelligence. So there are many people like segmenting from the image, the objects. Also very nice work by Chicago University students, wearable microphone jamming, as we are in totally like smart but also controlled environment living, and then sometimes we need privacy, and by wearing this bracelet which emits ultrasonic sound makes impossible for all the smart agents and voice assistants and other microphones what we are not aware of, impossible to hear us. And we talked already about the problems of face recognition, and Adam Harvey, very famous work, CV Dazzle, makes impossible that the system recognizes our face, or Simone C. Nikhil, she created a series of t-shirts with kind of many images of famous people that algorithms, face recognition algorithms, gets confused where is the face and who has to be tagged. So when we jump now to conclusions, which is quite difficult to do, then I must say that AI is definitely gaining importance and is applied in almost all the fields. AI development moves really fast, but not the regulations, and it's a problem. And many companies takes advantage of this, and our human rights suffer from this, and our environment suffer from this. Numerous ethical and environmental concerns are there, and we should fight that technology serves the humanity and the environment, and not other way around. Expanding creative minds, AI is definitely doing this, but also it limits us. So we think that we can apply these AI filters and we create already a new magnificent aesthetical experience. Also, I see that there is a new aesthetics in creative fields, new ways of images and form making, and also it brings new wave also to interactivity. We can talk about neural aesthetics nowadays, which are very unique, but also quite recognizable, which I think artists have to deal with and maybe find new solutions to this. And definitely artistic process gains value from this new tool and the AI, and it expands our creativity if we maintain the freedom of our artistic process by developing our own data sets and training our own models, which is of course difficult and expensive, but still it's possible. Okay, thank you for listening, and if we will have time for questions, I will be happy to answer them. Thank you.